Looking live on the Made in America product showcase at the White House that you will be seeing soon. So you can just see the people are filling in right here, but stay tuned because as it gets started, we will take you guys over to another stream, which will be titled Made in America. And right now we're looking live on so that you will be able to see that showcase at the White House that you will, you can find it on our YouTube page right here. So you can just see the people are filling in right here, on our website because as it gets started, we will take you guys over to another stream. So it should be a very excited event. And right now we're looking live. I'm very excited to see it, and I'm able to see that. He just held one at the White House that you will find it on our YouTube page right here. So you can just see the people are filling in right guys on our website. As it gets started, we will take you guys over to another stream. So it should be very exciting. So this was actually right now not a month ago. I'm very excited to see it. And able to see that. He just held one at the White House that you can see right here. So this is all the people are from the White House website, our official website, whitehouse.gov. Take you guys over to another. So it should be very exciting. So July 18th, 2017 ago, I'm very excited to see hosted companies from across the country on the White House with amazing product showcase. So this is all, and it was held in order to celebrate official website whitehouse.gov and highlight each take you guys over to another. So it's good. So I see us right now on a month ago. I'm very excited to see triple audio from across the country. On that and fix that real quick. Product showcase. So this is all, and it was held in order to celebrate official website whitehouse.gov and highlight each take you guys over to another. So it's good. So I see us right now on a month ago. I'm very excited to see triple audio from across the country. On that and fix that real quick. Product showcase. So this is all, and it was held in order. Okay, it should be good now. But let me know. They were saying double audio, but I don't have anything else open, so I don't know why it would do that.
It's good over here.
Okay.
Speaking.
So like I said, President Trump hosted companies from across the country a year ago at the Made in America product showcase. And in order to celebrate and highlight each state's effort and commitment to American-made goods, businesses from each of the 50 states displayed their products made and produced in the United States. So leaders from each company showcased their unique businesses on the South Lawn and on the state floor of the White House, and products ranged from sandwiches to wool blankets to fire trucks, and each business was connected by the common thread of American excellence. Now, the president visited and talked to members from each company, assuring the interests and the workers in the United States would not be pushed aside for global projects. And under the leadership of President Trump, the American leader will be championed. Now, since his inauguration, President Trump has been fighting on behalf of American workers and families, and he signed the Buy American and Hire American executive order that targets the abusive use of waivers and exception to undermine Buy American laws that promote the allocation of taxpayer funds to American companies. And the order also takes steps to stop the abuse of the immigration system and protect American workers. Now, after visiting each display, President Trump addressed workers and business leaders attending the day's event in the East Room of the White House, and he actually recognized the vital contributions of American workers and job creators to our nation's prosperity. And the president also voiced his appreciation and attributed much of America's success to the determination and ingenuity of It's entrepreneurs, workers, and farmers who drive our economy and support our military strength. And in a statement at the event, President Trump said, "We want to build, create, and grow more products in our country using American labor, American goods, and American grit. When we purchase products made in the USA, the profits stay here, the revenue stays here, and the jobs, maybe most importantly of all, they stay right here in the USA." And the president then signed a proclamation declaring July 17th Made in America Day and July 16th through 22nd as Made in America Week, calling upon Americans to pay a special tribute to all those who work every day to make America great. And you can see, he was calling Made in America Week July 16th, through July 22nd, and now we are having it a year and a day later on July 23rd again. And quoted here on the White House's official website, it says, "We will celebrate craftsmen, producers, and innovators like the incredible men and women in this room today. We will protect our workers, promote our industry, and be proud of our history because we will put America first." So it's going to be a fantastic event. I'm really excited to share it with you guys. We're expecting it to start any minute now, but remember to switch over to that news stream as soon as it does, and we will keep you guys updated. But I want to know, of course, if you guys have any questions as well, you can chat them to me right here or on our Twitter account. You can send them directly to my Twitter and I will see them as well. I see your comment, Aries Love. My name is Alyssa Ash. And he is not speaking yet. We are waiting to hear from him. But until we get there, I can update you guys. The president was very active on his Twitter this weekend with one that was very famous, of course, in retaliation to the Iranian president, Rouhani. He said in all caps, President Trump said, "Never ever threaten the United States again, or you will suffer consequences the likes of which throughout history have ever suffered before. We are no longer a country that will stand for your demented words of violence and death. Be cautious." And he also tweeted out, "So we now find out that it was indeed the unverified and fake dirty dossier that was paid for by crooked Hillary Clinton and the DNC, and that was knowingly and falsely submitted to FISA, and which was responsible for starting the totally conflicted and discredited Mueller witch hunt." And he also tweeted just an hour later, "It was classified to cover up misconduct by the FBI and Justice Department in misleading the court by using the dossier in a dishonest way to gain a warrant to target the Trump team. This is a Clinton campaign document. It was fraud and a hoax designed to target Trump and the DOJ. FBI and Obama gang need to be held account. Source number one was the major source. Avoid talking about it, being the Clinton campaign behind it, missold the court to provide a pretext to spy," in all caps, "on the Trump team. Not about Carter Page, was all about getting Trump." And he just continued on to the next tweet. "Carter Page wasn't a spy, wasn't an agent of the Russians. He would have cooperated with the FBI. It was a fraud and a hoax designed to target Trump. Tom Fitton at Judicial Watch, a disgrace to America. They should drop the discredited Mueller witch hunt now. And so he gave Tom Fitton credit for all of that. And then he continued tweeting, and he said, just an hour later, when you hear the fake news talking negatively about my meeting with President Putin and that I gave up, remember, I gave up nothing. We merely talked about the future benefits for both countries. Also, we got along very well, which is a good thing, except for the corrupt media.
I'm just looking at this stream now, the White House stream, but for everybody to join us now.
Okay. So we are wrapping this stream up right now, as of course, as you know, the White House press briefing is over. But please join us on our new stream that we will be posting in just a minute.
We're already live on it.
We're already live on it, actually, with President Trump at the Made in America event. So check that out, and I will see you guys over there. Hey everyone, and welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network. I'm Melissa Ash, and excited to welcome you guys to the Made in America product showcase being held today, where President Trump is participating. And thank you so much for those that switched over from our other stream. We just showed the White House press briefing, which was pretty short. They were about 30 minutes late on that, so she actually only gave a statement for a few minutes and then took questions for the rest of the time and told the press how excited she was to welcome all of them to the Made in America product showcase, and just discussed how President Trump is so excited just to have everyone here, and he is committed to making sure more products are made in America. So I was giving you guys a little bit of a background on that, a background on what last year's event was like. So if some of you are just joining, new to this stream, I will kind of go through that again with you guys until the event starts. So this is actually from whitehouse.gov, their official website. I'm going to tell you guys what they released last year and just how the event went. So last year, President Trump hosted companies from across the country at the White House for the Made in America product showcase, and it was held in order to celebrate and highlight each state's effort and commitment to American-made goods. Businesses from each of the 50 states displayed their products made and produced in the United States. So leaders from each company showcased their unique businesses on the South Lawn and on the state floor of the White House. Products actually ranged from sandwiches to wool blankets to fire trucks, and each business was actually connected by the common thread of American excellence. And the president visited and conversed with members from each company, assuring that the interests of the workers in the United States would not be pushed aside for global projects. And under the leadership of President Trump, the goal was for the American worker to be championed. Now, since his inauguration, President Trump has been fighting on behalf of American workers and families, and he signed the Buy American and Hire American executive order that actually targets the abuse of waivers and the exception to undermine Buy American laws that promote the allocation of taxpayer funds to American companies. And the order actually takes steps to stop the abuse of the immigration system and protect American workers. After visiting each display, President Trump addressed the workers and business leaders attending the day's events in the East Room of the White House, and he recognized the vital contributions of American workers and job creators to our nation's prosperity. And the president also voiced his appreciation and attributed much of America's success to the determination and ingenuity of its entrepreneurs, workers, and farmers who drive our economy and support our military strength. And he actually said, we want to build, create, and grow more products in our country using American labor, American goods, and American grit. When we purchase products made in the USA, the profits stay here, the revenue stays here, and the jobs, maybe most importantly of all, they stay right here in the USA. And the president then signed the proclamation and declared July 17th as Made in America Day and July 16th through 22nd as Made in America Week, calling upon Americans to pay a special tribute to those who work every day to make America great. And you can see we're having this event again just a year and a day later on July 23rd, a day after the week-long Made in America Week was kind of supposed to end. And a statement put out by the White House: we will celebrate craftsmen, producers, and innovators like the incredible men and women in this room today. We will protect our workers, promote our industry, and be proud of our history because we will put America first. And now I'm wondering if you guys have any specific manufacturers that you would like to see at the event today. Please comment them below and I will share them with everyone. And also checking my Twitter and Facebook, checking the Facebook stream as well, just to make sure that none of you have comments or questions there. Wow, and it looks like we just received a $20 donation from Ruth McAllister. Thank you very much for that, who says more gifts on the way. And she is actually sending some just gear to us because she owns an outdoors store, kind of like Bass Pro Shops. And so she's sending us shirts and shoes and different things so that we can all look good on air and at our rallies. Thank you very much for that, Ruth. We're so excited to receive that and also hopefully meet you one day because you have just been so absolutely fantastic. And also kind of before we switch over to this stream, I was sharing with you guys some of the president's tweets. He was very active on Twitter this weekend, and so I'm going to go through a few of those with you real quick. A question from Kiva Wolf. I have a question: what percentage of the Super Chat gifts does YouTube get? They actually get 30% of our Super Chat donations, and we get to keep the 70%. So if you want to donate in a way where we can receive about 90% of what you are giving us, please You can donate on our website. There are links to PayPal there and Patreon, and I'll be sharing more with you guys about that later. But first, I'm going to keep going through the president's tweets with you guys, as he was, like I said, very active on Twitter this weekend. So he said, a rocket has not been launched by North Korea in 9 months. Likewise, no nuclear test. Japan is happy. All of Asia is happy. But the fake news is saying, without ever asking me, and then in parentheses, always anonymous sources, that I am angry because it is not going fast enough. Wrong, very happy. And then he tweeted, the Amazon Washington Post has gone crazy against me ever since they lost the internet tax chase in the U.S. Supreme Court 2 months ago. Next up is the U.S. Post Office box, where they use at a fraction of real cost as their delivery boy for a big percentage of their packages. And then continuing on that tweet, he said, in my opinion, the Washington Post is nothing more than an expensive, and then in parentheses, the paper loses a fortune, lobbyist for Amazon. Is it used as protection against antitrust claims, which many feel should be brought. And let's see, it looks like we have some new viewers joining. Welcome, Peter the Great and Hightower Walls. And I see your comment, Ma Deuce. We need to buy Ruth's products, MAGA. So thank you so much, Ma, for showing your support. So Ruth, if you actually have a link to your website and want to share it with everyone, please do. Yes, and I see your comment, JCS, talking about the White House press
Ladies and
briefing
gentlemen, the President
earlier.
of the United States.
You said briefing room audibly gasped when press secretary said POTUS is looking into pulling the security clearances of Brendan Clapper, Comey, Hayden Rice, and McCabe. And we just received a $5 donation from Debo. And we are now going live to the president.
Thank you very much, everybody.
So
Please
stay tuned for a post-show
This
after.
is a lot of fun. I just took a trip around and looked at your merchandise, and nobody makes it better. We're working right now on this right here. Had these hats. Make our farmers great again. That's what's happening. We're stopping the barriers to other countries. They send them in and take advantage of us, and we can't go the other way, and this is the way it's going to go. Make our farmers great again. So I just had them made up, and that's the way I feel. We'll give them to some of the farmers here. But I want to thank you and welcome everybody to the White House for the second annual Made in America Showcase. Made in America, Made in the USA. What do you like better? Huh? Made in the USA, Made in America? Both pretty good. Both pretty good. I remember when I was growing up, I'd see Made in America all over the place. A little bit Made in the USA, but Made in America. Everything had Made in America. And we're starting that again, and it's happening again, as you know. We're here today to celebrate the greatest products in the world, products made with American heart, American sweat, and American pride. We're thrilled to showcase incredible American-made goods from all 50 states. We have snowboards from Colorado. Where's the snowboard person? Those were nice snowboards. 10 years ago, I was perfect. Now, I don't know. I'm not such a beautiful job. Cowboy boots from Texas. Where's cowboy boots? I like those boots. I like those boots. Baseball bats from Pennsylvania. I used to play baseball. Good. Boats, cars, spaceship. You know about the spaceship. And in case you hadn't noticed, there's an F-35 stealth fighter outside, and it's beautiful, parked on the south lawn. I guess getting it here, I know it didn't land on the South Lawn, but it's something very special. It's, can't see it. Where's Lockheed? Maryland, yeah. It's incredible. I went to one of the pilots, I was saying, how do you compare this with a certain other plane from the enemy? They said, well, the difference is when we fight, they can't see our plane. I said, that sounds like a pretty big advantage, right? It's called stealth, super stealth. All of these products have something special, very much in common. A big, beautiful seal, and that's with the sign, in this case, made in the USA. Also joining us today and at the event is NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine. Where's Jim? Jim, thank you. Jim, thank you. And Marilyn, thank you for being here from Lockheed Martin. After many years of decline, American manufacturing is coming back bigger and better and stronger than ever before. It's happening. We're in the midst of a great economic revival in the United States. We've added 3.7 million new jobs since the election, including more than 370,000 in manufacturing alone. Remember, during the campaign, they all said, oh, you're never going to add manufacturing jobs. That's obsolete, they would say. I said, it's obsolete? To make things is obsolete? I guess they were wrong, right? I guess they were wrong. We're adding a lot more. Almost 1 million workers discouraged by the policies of the previous administration and, frankly, other administrations have now returned to the workforce. New unemployment claims are at the lowest level in almost half a century. Think of that. The lowest level unemployment claims. That's a big one. Unemployment rates for Americans, for African Americans and Hispanics and Asians, Americans, all of us, lowest ever. These are the lowest levels for African Americans, for Hispanics, and for Asians ever recorded. Think of that, ever recorded. And women, unemployment recently reached the 65-year low. We think that's probably the lowest ever. But as I've been saying, in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, it will be. It'll be the lowest in history. Pretty bad when you say the lowest in 65 years. And I say that's not as good as history. So, but very shortly it will be. We'll be saying history. Manufacturing wages are expected to rise at the fastest rate in more than 17 years. And 95% of American manufacturers, which I love, that's what we love, is manufacturers, are optimistic about the future. That's the highest level ever recorded, 95%. We have achieved together in the last 18 months something that is totally unprecedented. For decades, the United States allowed other countries to steal our jobs, close our factories, and plunder our wealth. What was happening was horrible. I used to talk about it for 20 years in the private sector. I said, how did they let this happen? Little did I know I'd get my shot. That's what happened. And that's what's happening to us, because it's really been positive. Our leaders in Washington did nothing. They did nothing. They let our factories leave. They let our people lose their jobs, given to other jobs, workers in faraway lands. That's not free trade. That's fool's trade. That's stupid trade. And we don't do that kind of trade anymore. The European Union's been very tough on the United States, but they're coming in to see me on Wednesday. And we'll see if we can work something out. And otherwise, we'll have to do something with respect to the millions of cars that they send in every year. But maybe we can work something out. They're all coming in, the top people. We're talking to China, who had a $375 billion trade surplus last year with the United States. I think $375 billion, or looking at it differently, we had a $375 billion trade deficit. That's not good. And we're talking to China very seriously. We're talking to Mexico on NAFTA. And I think we're going to have something worked out. The new president, terrific person. I spoke to him at length on a call, did a great job, got a tremendous vote, and they have a lot of confidence in him in Mexico, and that's good. But we're talking to them about doing something very dramatic, very positive for both countries. We're demanding fairness with the World Trade Organization. It's been a disaster for the United States, and we want fairness. We'd lose court cases. We always had a minority of judges. They gave us fewer judges than other countries had. And we'd lose cases. Nobody knew why. I said, I know why. Because you don't have judges from this country. You'd have a minority, 3-2, with 3 being on the other side. And we've started to do much better lately in winning cases. But America never waves the white flag. We only wave the red, white, and blue flag. The era of economic surrender for the United States is over. It's over. And you people have been really leading the charge. America is fighting back, and we're winning again. You know my story about winning. We're going to win so much, you'll get tired of winning. I don't think you're going to get tired. Throughout our history, our greatest leaders, Washington, Jefferson, Hamilton, Lincoln, McKinley. People don't know too much about McKinley. Take a look. It was an really incredible economic time for our country. People wanted to come in and take from our country. They had to pay for it. They had to pay for the privilege of taking from our country. We all understood that to be strong, and every one of them, our nation, that we really had to be a manufacturing nation. You have to be able to be a manufacturing nation. I'm very proud to say that our steel industry is coming back at a level that nobody thought possible. Factories are opening up all over. No matter where I'm going, they're saying, you know, we just opened up a steel plant that was closed for 5 years or 10 years or 20 years in some cases. U.S. Steel now is opening up 6 plants, and they're expanding in other plants. And we're very proud of that. But we were being dumped on. You know what that means? We're being dumped on. They were dumping all over this country. And now our steel industry is coming back. And you need a steel industry. That's not like a normal thing where you make even some of your products, which I love, but it's not steel. We need steel. We need it in case of an emergency of the wrong kind. My administration is reclaiming our proud manufacturing heritage because we are finally putting, again, America first. We're tearing down barriers to our exports, protecting our intellectual property, and defending our companies from unfair foreign trade practices, of which there are many. We're putting the trade cheaters on notice. No one rips off the United States of America anymore. It's happened too much for too long and stopping. To give you a level playing field, we've cut record numbers of regulations. In the history of our country, nobody's cut more regulations than me, and I've only been here for less than 2 years. So I'm talking about 2 years, 4 years, 16 years, 8 years. Doesn't matter how long they're here. We've cut more regulations than any other president, and we've just been here for shorter than 2 years. We've passed the biggest tax cut and reform in American history. We've gotten rid of the individual mandate from health care, which was a disaster for you and your businesses, where people had to pay for the privilege of not having to pay to get bad health care. Sounds complicated, but it's actually pretty basic. You pay for not having to buy. And a lot of people wondered about that one. That's gone. That's a big thing. That's gone. That was the most unpopular element of Obamacare. And Obamacare is very rapidly fading away. We had it done, but we missed it by 1 vote. Somebody changed their mind in the middle of the evening. Wonder who that was. But just one of those things. But we're very far progressed. And we're now opening up health care policies and making it possible for people to buy great health care at a low cost. And we're very proud of that. And it's opened. Secretary of Labor Acosta has done an incredible job. And Secretary Azar is in the process of doing something that's going to be very big. And all of you people will be big beneficiaries of that in the business world also. Since our tax cuts were passed, more than 6 million Americans have received a bonus or a pay raise, in some cases a very substantial bonus, and they're really liking it. Creating over $7 trillion of worth for our country. we vaulted up to a very strong #1 position. We're the largest in the world, largest economy in the world, by a lot more than when I took over the presidency. Small businesses can now deduct 20% of their business income, and manufacturers can now immediately deduct every penny spent on new equipment. You never thought you were going to see that? So you go out, buy new equipment, or if you're selling equipment, that's even better, because I know a lot of you folks make the equipment. A one-year deal, think of it, expensing, 1 year expensing. Did you ever think you were going to see that? And people are buying. They're buying in record numbers. As a result of our tax cuts and in the bill itself, $300 billion in foreign profits have been brought back home to America where it belongs. In the first quarter of this year alone, Apple is spending $350 billion on new plants and an incredible campus. And many other companies are doing the same. Maryland, I think Lockheed Martin is doing a big investment, I heard just the other day, very big investment. Every time a new factory opens, every time jobs are returned to our shores, every time we buy a product made by our own American neighbors, we are renewing the bonds of love and loyalty that link us all together as Americans. There's tremendous spirit in our country right now. Sometimes you don't see it, but there is. And you're producers. You produce like nobody else. And the spirit is incredible. Esprit de corps. Today we declare a simple truth. It matters where something is made. It matters to me. You know, I'd hear the globalists talking about, like, it's okay to close a car factory or a car plant in Michigan, and it's okay to move that plant to Mexico and hire different workers and fire everybody in Michigan, but it's not okay for me. To me, it's a very bad thing, and that's stopping. Plants are moving back to Michigan, and they're moving back in big numbers, and they're moving back to Ohio, they're coming into Iowa in a lot of different ways, and ethanol, as you know, is taking on whole new leaps and bounds. A lot of things are happening. Pennsylvania, you see what's going on there with steel. Pennsylvania's incredible what's happening in Pennsylvania. But you look at just steel. When you hear steel's doing well, you know Pennsylvania's doing well. But car plants are moving back into our country at numbers that soon will be records like we've never set before. The more we make things in America, the stronger America becomes. That's why we will always live by two crucial rules: buy American and hire American. These principles gave rise to centuries of American prosperity, from Ford's Model T to the F-150 that I just saw, which was beautiful, from the Wright brothers to that beautiful Orion space capsule. On the South Lawn, you have the space capsule, and every part is made right here in America. That was my first question. And NASA is, as you know, is really in a position that it hasn't been in decades. People are excited about it. And for some reason, I just told the guys, for some reason, rich people love rockets. They love them. I said, let them spend. We'll lease them the pad. Get a lot of money. Don't worry. They don't care. They just want to have their rocket go to Mars. Everybody wants to be the first. So let them go up and let them do it. Let these rich guys, they love those rockets. I never liked it as much as them. That's okay. But we have the real estate. You know, you can't send too many rockets up from too many locations. We have the places. We have the best places there are. So we have a lot of work going on at NASA that's being done by NASA. We also have a lot of work going on that's done by these very rich people that love sending rocket ships up to various places. And we're going to learn, and we're going to give them a lot of credit for doing it. It's great. When they want to do it, we think it's great. American ingenuity built the railroads. It linked the highways, put up the skyscrapers, and landed a man on the face of the moon. We can only imagine the incredible new marvels this century will bring. Can you imagine? You look at some of the things that are done today. I look at simple computer screens and what you have today and what you didn't have 2 years ago. Can you imagine what it's going to be in the future? But what we do is that these marvels, and you look at them, will dreamed, they've been forged, they've all been made in America. They will be made by the great hard-working patriots like the people in this room. Incredible people. I have to say, I know you've been through a lot over the last 10 years. And now every single person I met outside, where they were showing off their product and displaying their product, they're saying it's better now than ever before. They've never had a time like this. And I'm happy to hear it, because that's what I'm here for. You've never had a time like this. And I'll tell you something, it's going to get better. It's actually going to get better. You might not even be able to envision. We have so much potential in this country. It's actually going to get better. It's good now, really good, I guess, in a lot of ways. It's going to get even better. So I want to thank you again to everyone for showcasing your amazing products. We love our country, we love our people, and we love our great American flag. God bless you, and God bless America. Keep up the fantastic work. Really good job. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining to hear President Trump's remarks at the Made in America event. It was definitely very encouraging, and I switched over to a different chair, so hopefully this mic is a little bit better for you guys. So I'm going to go through some of the comments he made and then share some articles with you guys, and then of course I will be interacting with you here on YouTube. If you have any questions, please make sure to share them with me and over here on Twitter and Facebook as well. So make sure to share your comments, and I will be checking that throughout the broadcast. So first, I'm going to go through some of President Trump's main points he made. He opened by saying, "We're here today to celebrate the greatest products in the world that were made with American heart, sweat, and pride." And he said there were even snowboards from Colorado there. He said there were 3.7 billion new jobs since the election. Think about that. It's so fantastic. 3.7 billion new jobs since the election. What a blessing that he has been able to bring just billions of jobs to this country. Unemployment's at an all-time low. African American unemployment's at an all-time low. Hispanic unemployment is at an all-time low. Asian unemployment is at an all-time low. And also, women's unemployment is the lowest it's been in 65 years, which is a statistic, and it's just going to keep growing. And then he also talked about how he was talking to Mexico on NAFTA and how he was going to have something worked out. He talked about how our steel industry is coming back. And he said, "We're tearing down barriers to our exports, protecting our intellectual property." And he said, "No one rips on the USA anymore." And he said, "We've cut record numbers of regulations than any other president. And we passed the biggest tax cut and reform in American history." And he said that Obamacare is rapidly fading away. And I'm going to check something real quick that some of you are commenting. Yes, I apologize. It is 3.7 million new jobs, not billion. Sorry about that. So anyways, he said, "We're tearing down barriers to our exports, protecting our intellectual property." And he said, no one rips the USA anymore. And we've cut record numbers of regulations, more than any other president. And he said we passed the biggest tax cut in American history. Obamacare is rapidly fading away. And, we're now opening up healthcare policies and making it possible for people to buy healthcare at a very low cost. And as a result, in tax cuts and in the bill itself, $300 billion has been brought back to America where it belongs. And he said Lockheed Martin is making a big investment today, and that there is a tremendous spirit in our country right now. He said sometimes you might not see this spirit, but it is definitely there, just that there is a tremendous spirit in America right now. And I see your comment, Catherine Goodwin. She said, pray for Trump. I don't know how a man can handle such torment from his fellow man. He must have God's favor. Definitely. Thank you so much for sharing that, Catherine. As you know, President Trump goes through so much. He is insulted on a daily basis. The mainstream media, or MSM, as you all know, is out to get him, and everything positive that he does, they kind of spin and make it negative. And so it is a blessing that he stays strong. And I see your continued support from Stephanie Brown, who says, Catherine, I pray for him. I couldn't imagine the stress he goes through. An outlaw patriot, God is working through Trump. And Barbara Braley, of course, thanking Catherine Godwin, saying amen. And anyways, it's just such a blessing that he stays strong throughout all of the insults he receives on a daily basis, just from so many. It is definitely the hardest job in the world that he has been tasked with. So anyways, talking to the manufacturers today at the Made in America event, he said, your producers, you produce like nobody else. And he said that globalists say it's okay to close plants in the U.S. and move them to other countries, but he does not say that it's okay. Yes, I just saw that. 1 second, guys. Okay, there you go. Now the lower third is updated. Sorry about that. So, and President Trump said 2 rules he always has are that we must live, that we must always live by, are to buy American and to hire American. And then towards the end, he thanked everyone for showcasing the products and asked everyone to keep up their fantastic work. And I got a comment from Cassandra Portugal. Do you know when the next rally is and where? I do not, but stay tuned. We will definitely keep you updated as we find out here on YouTube and on our Facebook as well, and on our Twitter at RSBN Network. And I see your comment, Drastic at X18. Is this the event? This is the post show of the event. But if you want to see President Trump speak, just rewind to the very beginning and you will be able to see his speech. And also a $199 donation from Brando, the Thirst Mutilator. Thank you very much for that. Really appreciate it. And a great comment from Jan Dawn. Good job. Keep praying for our president, for peace, for resolution on issues, and for peace. And another Cheryl 55 asking, when is the next rally? It is not out yet. That information has not been released, but we will keep you updated as we know, of course, like I said, here on YouTube during our streams and on our social channels as well. And I'm going to go through a few articles with you guys just about the topic today, buying American. And wow, just got a $19.99 donation from Holy Moly Donut Shop, who said, very good, you get one free bear claw every lunch break. Thank you so much for that, Holy Moly. Really appreciate you and your donations. I hope you're close by to Auburn. It would be so great to visit you guys and get that. If not, it's okay, but please let me know where you guys are. And thank you so much for continually blessing us. Okay, and going to switch over right now and tell you guys about the products made in the USA article. And this is from moneycrashers.com. And reasons to buy American-made goods. So first it talks about, how you can walk into any store, pick up a random item on the shelf, look at the label, and a lot of times you'll see made in China, made in Mexico, made in Taiwan, but it doesn't always say made in the USA. And it reads that it wasn't always this way. Decades ago, many or even most of the products on store shelves were American made, but since the late 1990s, American manufacturing has seen a steady decline. Many U.S. companies have moved their factories and jobs they provided to other countries where labor is cheaper, such as China and Mexico. But there are some signs that this trend is starting to reverse itself. The Reshoring Initiative, which is a nonprofit group aimed at restoring American manufacturing jobs, reports that more than 300 companies have moved production back to the United States since 2010, creating about 240,000 new jobs. And as a result, the Made in USA label, though still rare, is slowly making its way back onto the shelves. So according to, and this is a little outdated, but a 2015 report by Consumer Reports, 80% of American shoppers say that they prefer to buy goods in the United States, and more than 60% say they'd even be willing to pay 10% more for an American-made product. So shoppers do have different reasons for choosing American-made goods, and this includes the following. Of course, number one is jobs, and the most common reason shoppers give for buying American is to help save or create jobs in the U.S. According to a 2015 report from the EPI, Economic Policy Institute, the U.S. lost a total of 5.7 million manufacturing jobs between 1998 and 2013, and this was partly because of the Great Recession, but mostly because of trade imbalances with foreign nations like China and Mexico. And also, there is a lower carbon footprint, so products made overseas actually have a higher carbon footprint than many U.S.-made goods. Goods in China or India have to be shipped all the way across the ocean to reach American stores, burning fossil fuel and spewing out greenhouse gases with every mile they travel. And of course, there is less pollution. So one way it's cheaper to make goods in developing countries is that many of them have few or no regulations to protect the health of the air and the water. And many factories overseas that produce goods for export to the U.S. also produce large amounts of hazardous chemicals that pollute the air, water, and soil. And a 2014 paper by a team of Chinese researchers published in the Journal of the National Academy of Sciences concluded that the U.S. has effectively outsourced much of its air pollution to China, where more than 33% of sulfur oxide emissions and around 25% of nitrogen oxides and carbon monoxide come from the production of goods for export. And I saw some of your great comments here just about how some of you have bought Made in America goods. Let me see, where was that? Okay, I'm not seeing it right now, but if you guys have any specific products that were made in America, please share them with us and kind of your reviews on that. That would be such a blessing. And also, we just got a $14.99 donation from Stephen Asante. Thank you so much for that. A regular viewer, so glad to have you here in the chat room. Really appreciate you and all that you do for us. And another reason, of course, to buy goods made in America is for human rights. So this article reads that in addition to having weaker environmental regulations, the countries that produce the goods Americans buy often have no laws to protect the rights of the workers. And a 2015 report from the Institute for Global Labor and Human Rights documents how Chinese workers who produce toys for American brands such as Hasbro, Mattel, and Disney work 12 to 13-hour days and sleep on, and this is just absolutely heartbreaking, plywood bunk beds in crowded, dirty, and freezing dormitories. And an earlier report from 2006 actually uncovered child labor in a factory in Bangladesh that produced clothing sold by Walmart and JCPenney. Conditions in these foreign sweatshops can even turn deadly, as in 2013, the collapse of a garment factory in Bangladesh killed more than 1,000 employees. And then health, of course, is a main reason. So the lack of environmental and safety regulations overseas doesn't just put foreign workers at risk, but it can also threaten the health of American consumers. And in 2007, dozens of types of children's toys made in China were recalled because they were unsafe, and some posed a choking hazard, while others contained dangerous chemicals like lead paint and kerosene, according to the New York Times. And of course, another one of the reasons is for a stronger economy. So buying American-made goods doesn't just support the workers who make those goods, but its benefits also ripple throughout the entire economy. So when American factories prosper, they hire American construction firms to expand their buildings, American accounting firms to handle their money, and American energy suppliers to provide them with power. And the EPI estimates that every U.S. manufacturing job supports an additional 1.4 jobs in other parts of the economy. And also, it is very important to understand the labels. So figuring out which products are made in the U.S. is not always a simple matter of checking the label. So the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, requires all products be labeled as made in the USA, to have all or nearly all of their content made in this country, including parts, processing, and labor. However, the FTC doesn't have the resources to check every product that's sold, so it's not unusual to see products boldly labeled as made in the USA that are actually from China, according to a business consultant interviewed by Consumer Reports. So this definitely makes it a little bit trickier to know exactly where your products are coming from. So also, while the FTC regulates the use of the words made in the USA, products labeled as assembled in the USA or designed in the USA aren't necessarily made from American-made parts. And the FTC does not place any limits on the use of patriotic symbols such as the American flag. So a product can have a huge Stars and Stripes logo splashed all over the package and only a tiny disclaimer at the bottom saying that it's made entirely from imported parts. So like I said, that definitely makes things more difficult. And adding to the confusion is the fact that most products are legitimately American made are not actually required to say so. So the only exceptions are automobiles, textiles, and other items made of wool. according to the Consumer Reports, many companies that make some products in the U.S., such as Kenmore, don't mention the fact on the label because they also have contracts with factories overseas. And that is a good comment, Guinevere, from one of our moderators on YouTube. She said, I'm going to be looking for made in the USA and also the exact state they are made in. Hopefully that will be truthful. Yes, Guinevere, what a great idea to check for the state as well. Hopefully that will be posted on some different products. So the best way actually to identify American-made goods from their labels is to look for the country of origin label. So the U.S. Customs and Border Protection requires that all imported goods must be clearly marked to show where they came from. So this marking must be both conspicuous and legible so that you should be able to find it very easily on the package. And that's a clear sign that it is made in the United States. So when you're trying to find American-made products, even if all the products at Target and Walmart seem to be made in China, it's actually possible that nearly anything from a new sweater to a washing machine from an American manufacturer, if you know where to look. So numerous websites like Made in the USA, it states here Americans Working, and USA Love List exist for the sole purpose of helping U.S. customers spend their shopping dollars in ways that actually support U.S. workers. So when you are looking to get a car, it can be tricky to identify which ones are American, since one that was assembled in the United States may contain parts from many other parts of the world. And so on top of that, many cars built with American-made parts don't sell very well, which means they don't provide as many jobs for U.S. workers as cars with less domestic content. So to help consumers purchase vehicles that support the most American jobs, the auto buying site Cars.com has actually developed an American-made index, which includes cars assembled in the U.S., containing at least 75% of American-made parts and selling in large numbers to American consumers. Unfortunately, this list keeps getting shorter. In 2015, it contained just 7 models the first time it had dropped below 10. And also, we just received a $19.99 donation from Jesus is Lord 5454. Thank you very much for that. Jesus is Lord. Really appreciate your donation. You have been a faithful donor ever since my first rally in Nashville, and you were just commenting, encouraging things, and cheering me on. So thank you very much for that. Really appreciate you. Also, just got a comment from Candy Smith, who says, I don't trust China-made items after that huge issue with kids' toys. Definitely, there were a lot of recalls coming from products in China. So it's important to, of course, read reviews of all the products that you buy for your children before allowing them to play with them. So those 7 cars that are on that list of ones that are manufactured in America. So one of them is a Toyota Camry. And although Toyota is a Japanese company, it assembles the Camry at plants in Indiana and Kentucky. And Cars.com actually estimates that production of this midsize sedan provides jobs for 5,900 U.S. auto workers, far more than any other model on the list. And the 2015 non-hybrid Camry is also a well-reviewed car, earning an A grade from Edmunds.com. And the average price paid for this car, according to Edmunds.com, is around $30,500, which is kind of modest considering that the site's sedan buying guide says a midsize sedan can cost anywhere from $18,000 to $80,000. And then there is also the Chevy Traverse. And this SUV is actually assembled in Lansing, Michigan, where it provides jobs for 1,900 workers. So the 2015 Traverse is not actually rated at Edmunds.com, but the 2014 model earned an A grade, and owners who review the 2015 model on the site give it a 4.5 stars out of 5. So Edmunds.com actually says that the average price paid for the 2015 Traverse is around $33,300. And this is typical for a mid-size SUV, which can cost anywhere from the mid-20,000s to the mid-40,000s, according to Edmunds.com's SUV buying guide. So also we have on the list the Toyota Sienna, which is assembled in Princeton, Indiana. And this minivan actually employs an estimated 1,800 U.S. auto workers. And like the Traverse, it's not rated on Edmunds.com, but the site gives the 2014 model an A and awards it 4.5 stars out of 5. So its average price is about, the average price of about $30,600 paid is typical for minivans, which generally start in the upper 20,000s and can exceed 45,000 according to Edmunds.com. So also we have the Honda Odyssey. Now Honda, like another Japanese automaker, employs about 1,500 workers in Lincoln, Alabama to produce the Odyssey minivan. And the 2015 model receives an A on Edmunds.com. But owner reviews are less impressive, giving the minivan just 3.5 stars out of 5. And it puts its average price at about $38,600, which is kind of a bit towards the higher end for a minivan. So also we have the GMC Acadia, which the Acadia SUV is made by GMC, a division of General Motors, and production of this model supports approximately 1,000 workers in Lansing, Michigan. And I see your comment, Leonidas the Great, Toyota Tundra made in Texas. That is fantastic. And we just received a $10 donation from Tia Marie. Thank you very much for that. Really appreciate it. So also, like I said, the 2015 Acadia does not have a grade at Edmunds.com, and the handful of workers who review it there gave it only 3.5 stars. The average price paid, around $39,700, is higher than the Traverses, but still fairly typical for a mid-size SUV. So there is also the Chevy Corvette, which is the only sports car on the list. It's assembled in Bowling Green, Kentucky, where it provides jobs for 800 to 900 workers. And there are several versions of the 2015 Corvette, and the Z06 Coupe earns an A grade at Edmunds.com, while the Stingray Z51 Coupe receives a B. And it is by far the most expensive car on the American-Made Index, with an average price paid of nearly $65,900. However, Edmunds.com's performance car buying guide actually says that this is a normal price for a car of this type, which can range from just over $20,000 to somewhere around $1 million. And then there's also the Buick Enclave. So Buick, which is another GM division, manufactures the Enclave SUV in Lansing, Michigan as well. However, this model provides jobs for fewer than 500 workers. Its ratings are fairly unimpressive as well. While Edmunds.com does not review the 2015 Enclave, it gives a C grade to the 2016 version. And however, owners are more positive about the 2015 version, giving it 4.5 stars out of 5. And the Enclave is classified as a luxury midsize SUV, a type that Edmunds.com says starts around $32,000 and can reach more than $100,000. The Enclave's average price paid toward the low end of the range is $46,000. So only half of the cars made on the American Made Index are actually made by U.S. automakers. However, Cars.com points out that this list evaluates specific cars, not companies. And on the whole, the site notes the Detroit 3, Chevrolet, GM, and Ford employ more American workers than foreign car companies. And they also build the majority of cars made chiefly from American-made parts. So if you care less about whether your particular car was made, and more about supporting companies that provide American jobs, it says that buying from one of these companies is still a reasonable way to go. And before I move on to appliances, I'm going to check Twitter over here and make sure you guys don't have any questions for me. A sweet message from Stephanie Brown. She said, "Thank you all for everything you do. You have no idea how much we need it. You're making a difference. Please never stop, no matter how many black screens YouTube sends y'all's way." Thank you so much, Stephanie. And a great message from Gregerson. He said, "President Trump is doing an awesome job with little thanks on improving our economy and implementing fair and reciprocal trade with other countries. Peace and prosperity for all is what he's trying to do, which includes improving relations with China, North Korea, Russia, and others. The media and liberals are pushing to ruin that initiative to destroy Trump and the country. Even Hillary Clinton stated in an interview that it's a good thing to have good relations with Russia and other countries." Thank you so much for that great comment, Malik. And a question from Ann Anon: "What is this article? Can someone link it?" Yes, I will right now, so you will be able to see it. It's from Money Crashers. Okay, so there is the link if you want to follow along. So next, when you are buying a major appliance, how are you going to know if it is American? So it's probably the biggest and most expensive machine most people will ever shop for. And AmericansWorking.com says that identifying American-made appliances is difficult, as many companies that make appliances in the U.S. don't always advertise the fact. So AmericansWorking.com manages to identify several appliance companies that make all or some of their products in the U.S., including Maytag, GE, and Bosch. However, it is recommended. There we go. We are back. Sorry to everyone on YouTube for the black screens. They keep coming up, but that is an issue, a YouTube issue, and not an issue on our part. So if that does happen, please switch over to our Facebook stream. You can find us on Facebook, Right Side Broadcasting, and on Twitter as well at RSB Network. You'll be able to see the stream there as well. So AmericansWorking.com managed to identify several appliance companies that make all or some of their products in the United States, including Maytag, GE, and Bosch. But it is recommended checking a specific model at the store you buy, confirm it says made in the USA on the label. And another good source to look at is Consumer Reports. So in a 2015 report, Best American Made Appliances lists dozens of large and small appliances that are made in the US and also perform well in the magazine's rigorous lab-based test. So anyone can actually view this list, but you need a paid subscription to the website to view the detailed ratings for each product. So brands that are featured prominently according to the Consumer Reports list include Whirlpool. So it's the largest appliance manufacturer in the world. It's based in Benton Harbor, Michigan, and it actually has 8 U.S. factories employing 15,000 American workers, more than any other appliance manufacturer. However, only 80% of the Whirlpool appliances sold in the U.S. are actually made in the States, and even those contain some foreign-made parts. So Whirlpool products on the Consumer Reports recommended list include 3 refrigerators, 2 washing machines, and a wall oven. So Maytag also is on the list, and it's a U.S. appliance manufacturer that was acquired by Whirlpool in 2006. So its products feature prominently in nearly every category on the Consumer Reports list, and recommended Maytag products include 2 fridges, 2 ranges, 2 wall ovens, 2 washing machines, and 1 freezer. So GE Appliances, which are based in Louisville, Kentucky, is one of the few appliance manufacturers that actually clearly labels its products to show just how much of their content is American made. For instance, the label on a GE bottom freezer refrigerators explains that they contain 87% domestic reports, and Consumer Reports recommends 1 GE wall oven, 3 GE ranges, and 1 GE washer, as well as a refrigerator from the company's high-end GE profile line. So Frigidaire, it was founded in Fort Wayne, Indiana, but it was actually acquired by the Swedish company Electrolux in 1986. However, it still operates 5 plants in the U.S., including one in Tennessee that opened in 2013. And according to Consumer Reports, several high-performing Frigidaire freezers are made in the U.S. So moving on to KitchenAid, and QAnon just asked again what that link is, so I'm going to link it again for you. So also Bosch is actually a German company, but it manufactures some of its dishwashers at a factory in New Bern, North Carolina. And 4 of these earn recommendations from Consumer Reports. And Bosch also owns Thermador, which makes professional style ranges in Campbell County, Tennessee. However, none of these make the Consumer Reports list. So most of the American made products on Consumer Reports list are fairly high end. For instance, the list of recommended refrigerators includes French door and bottom freezer models costing $1,250 to $2,600, but no inexpensive top freezers. Similarly, the ranges on the list cost $1,530 or more, while the top rated electrical range at Consumer Search costs only $850. So, however, there are several more modestly priced appliances on the list, including a $700 Bosch dishwasher and 2 washing machines costing $650 or less. So, of course, you may wonder as well if your computers and electronics were made in the USA. So we're going to go into that a little bit. So electronic products such as computers, cell phones, and TV sets are almost entirely made overseas. So even Apple, which is an iconic American brand, of course, many of you know, have MacBook Pros, Macs, Apple Watches, and iPhones as well. So they do say designed by Apple in California because they do nearly all of their manufacturing in China. So according to Consumer Reports, exactly one personal computer qualifies for the Made in the USA label. And this is Apple's ultra high-end Mac Pro desktop, which is manufactured actually in Austin, Texas from domestic components. And an Apple executive interviewed by Bloomberg Business claims the company employs more than 2,000 people in 20 states to build this computer. However, given that the MacBook Pro starts at $3,000, it is not exactly a practical choice for the average user. And they are cheaper since then, since this article is back a little bit. So ironically, while U.S. companies such as Apple do their manufacturing in China, Lenovo, a Chinese company, actually opened a factory in Whitsett, North Carolina in 2013 to give itself quicker access to the U.S. market. And products produced there include the ThinkPad Helix Convertible Ultrabook, which was priced around $800, so a little cheaper there. And another company assembling computers in the U.S. with some foreign parts is Lotus, which is a self-described family business in Florida. And although their products aren't widely covered in computer publications, its Stolsys 550 laptop receives an enthusiastic review on the laptop tester reviews. And also, you can find some electronic products that were made entirely or partly in the US in a few other categories. So phones, of course, when Motorola was owned by Google, it manufactured its Moto X smartphone in Fort Worth, Texas. However, TechRadar reports about 4 months ago, after Lenovo bought the company in 2014, this plant closed down. And so for the time being, the only way to own an American-made smartphone was to buy a refurbished Moto X made before 2014. Now, televisions, Element Electronics is actually an American company that assembles LED TV sets in Winsboro, South Carolina, and says its mission is to bring TV back to our shores, and its EL series TVs are sold exclusively at Walmart for really low prices between $150 and $387, but they don't get particularly high ratings from the users. And we also just received a $5 donation from Double A. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciate you. And then, of course, audio equipment, excuse me. So in addition to TVs, Element manufactures soundbars and is working on a Bluetooth audio player. Other American manufacturers include Grado Labs, which makes well-reviewed headphones by hand in Brooklyn, New York, and Milbert Amplifiers, which makes amplifiers for musical instruments. And thank you so much from Rick Moore. We just received a $24.99 donation. He said, have fun. You are doing great. Thank you so much for that, Rick. Really appreciate you. And I'm going to move on to furniture as well, so you can see how you can know if your furniture is being created in the US or overseas. So although US manufacturing as a whole has declined since the late 90s, the US furniture industry is still doing pretty well. American furniture makers do have to compete with cheap furniture from overseas, but they have two big advantages here in America. Of course, lower shipping costs and better access to US customers. So this actually allows them to respond more quickly to changes in demand, so that they're always making what people are most eager to buy. Now, furniture made in the US is generally more expensive than the cheap pressboard pieces sold at places like IKEA and Target. However, American-made furniture is typically of higher quality as well. Many American furniture makers actually craft their pieces by hand, so they're really just putting their heart and soul, and like President Trump said earlier during his speech about American-made products, just putting their heart and American sweat into that product as well. So they're made from solid wood and other natural materials to sell them online or in selected stores. And no matter what type of furniture you're looking for, you can probably find a U.S. manufacturer that offers it. So several examples include Vermont Wood Studios, Online Amish Furniture, Simplicity Sofas, Ultimate Sack, and White Lotus Home, which is based in Highland Park, New Jersey. And also going into clothing. So here you can see a picture outside of American Apparel. So clothing is probably one of the biggest challenges for shoppers who want to buy American. Forbes reported actually in 2008 that these days even luxury brands are having most of their clothes sewn in China, and inexpensive fast fashion brands such as H&M are increasingly moving their operations into other countries where labor is even cheaper, such as Vietnam. And according to Consumer Reports, more than 90% of the clothing sold in the U.S. is made elsewhere. However, considering how much clothing Americans buy each year, even a small percentage of it is still enough to offer you lots of choices. So one particularly well-known company that actually makes all of its clothing in the U.S. is the aptly named, perfectly named American Apparel. It produces women's, men's, and children's clothing in its Los Angeles factory with a focus on trendy designs for the under 30 crowd. So at around, $90 for a pair of jeans and $40 for a sweatshirt, it's much more expensive than cheap foreign-made garments sold at budget chains like Target and Walmart. However, compared to similar brands like Urban Outfitters, it's pretty close in price, which added the benefit of supporting American jobs. And you can find many U.S. clothing in many categories, including blue jeans. So, of course, all of you know the iconic American brand Levi's offers a limited selections of jeans made in the United States, and they all cost at least $130, more than twice the price of Levi's regular line. However, you can also buy Diamond Gazette men's and women's jeans sewn in Georgia for around $60 a pair, so that's a little bit better. And then North Carolina based Texas jeans actually goes even further, using 100% of US made denim for all of its men's, women's, and kids jeans, while still charging as little as $25 a pair. So that is fantastic. Very low price for jeans that were completely made in America. So definitely check out that stream. And then some casual wear. So Spreadshirt is actually a website that makes custom t-shirts, and it has 4 of its factories in the States, one in Greensburg, Pennsylvania, and one in Henderson, Nevada. And Eileen Fisher, which is a line of casual clothing for women, produces about 20% of its clothes in New York and Los Angeles. And you can find these items on its website by clicking on the This is Eco and selecting Made in the USA tag. So Karen Kane, another maker of women's wear, produces about 80% of its clothing in the US, according to Bizmology. And Karen Kane clothes are available at major department stores such as Macy's and Lord & Taylor's. And we also just received a $399 donation from Debo. Thank you so much for that. We really appreciate you. And this is your second donation of the day. So thank you so much, Debo. So also going into formal wear. So BL Culture is actually a specialty shop at the online marketplace Etsy, and it offers a multifunctional evening dress and calls it the One Dress. So it's actually made in Farmington, New Mexico, and this dress has a draped top that can be worn dozens of ways, and it's available in sizes 0 to 28, and with prices ranging from $65 to $175. And some versions of this dress can also be worn as a wedding dress for far less than the $1,357 that the average bride spends on her gown in 2014, according to The Knot. So some outerwear. Filson makes luggage and clothing, including coats and jackets for both men and women at its factory in Seattle. And prices for men's coats range from about $200 to $700, which is quite a bit higher than competitors such as LL Bean. And all garments are backed by an unconditional guarantee, so that's a little plus there. And to go with your winter coat, Stormy Cromer also makes a wide selection of hats and other winter accessories for men, women, and children in its Ironwood, Michigan factory. And prices for hats start at about $40. And again, all products come with a lifetime warranty. And then if you are shopping for American-made undergarments, Hanky Panky makes women's undergarments and sleepwear in the northern states using U.S.-made materials whenever possible. It's a little more costly, though, about $29 for one pair of underwear. And then, of course, if you are looking for socks that are American-made, Wiggum Mills offers a wide variety of American-made high-performance athletic socks for men, women, and youth, with prices starting around $10 a pair. And then Maggie's Organics also has men's, women's, and children's socks knitted in the U.S. from organic, fair trade wool and cotton, and these prices start around $5 a pair, so definitely a little cheaper there. So shoes in the U.S. are extremely difficult to find. You know, when you're scanning the aisles of a typical footwear chain retailer or the shoe section at a major department store, you'll see just one pair after another made in nations like China, Indonesia, and Korea. So if you want to buy American, you have to do a bit of searching to find footwear that fits your feet and your values. And you may need to pay extra as well. So American-made shoes tend to be both pricier and higher quality than the cheap styles found in the average big store box. And most styles are actually made from genuine leather, and many are sewn by hand. So with online shoe retailers like Zappos and ShoeBuy, you can actually search on Made in the USA and pull up the store's American-made shoes on a single page. However, buying shoes online doesn't allow you to try them on first, so it's best to shop stores that offer free returns. And there are some American-made brands you can use as well, such as New Balance, Allen Edmonds, Chippewa boots, Red Wing shoes, Kepner Scott. So that is all for that article. And I'm going to find some more information for you guys about American-made products. But like I said, if you have any specific American-made products that you are very thankful for, that have worked out really great for you, please provide them here in the comments below, and you can share links as well. So I'm going to get some more information for you guys real quick. And I hope that you are all having a fantastic day. I see your comment, the British Patriot, talking about the president's son. New Balance is what Barron wears. I did not know that. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so I found one from a website with a very fitting title, AmericanMadeMatters.com, and it is titled 10 Reasons Why You Should Buy American-Made Products, and it's by the AMM team. So this is actually a little bit older as well. It's from November 1st, 2016. So I'm going to share this with you guys. So one of the main reasons is because the national economy is important. So during times of uncertainty in the global market, it's becoming increasingly important for the American people to invest in and buy American-made products. Buying American-made products surpasses simple patriotism, but further helps to contribute to a brighter and more stable future for the entire country through the support of our local businesses. So supporting local businesses does more than you might think. It reinforces the strength of local communities, and this strengthens our nation from the inside out. It provides the best solution for building our national economy by building the most solid foundation imaginable. And American citizens, once again, are buying American-made products. So, before I continue through this article, I wanted to share with you guys that during my news recap tonight, we will also have a special stream just about some tweets that have been released lately about pedophiles in Hollywood. So it's very heartbreaking, especially just how they are, constantly being supported by the left, but stay tuned for that tonight. It's going to be very interesting. So one of the reasons why it is better to buy American-made products, of course, is to provide jobs for future generations. So our future generations definitely matter. Jobs for our children and grandchildren are important so that they can build a life for their families. And manufacturing in the USA means guaranteeing jobs for these future generations. And this happens because the more money that's being invested in buying American-made products, the more money will get put back into manufacturing American-made goods. And as it happens, the more the manufacturing sector will grow. So by growing the manufacturing sector, more jobs are created that in turn will push more money back into the economy. And this is a cycle that we can definitely get behind. Creating demand for American-made products means that more people will need to create those American-made products. So also it promotes American independence, which is definitely a good thing. And this says from American Made Matters, we as Americans have pride in our nation and in our independence, and relying on another country's exports is counterintuitive to our sense of being and to our national pride. And our country, which was once a powerhouse on the global market, is now placing vital importance on our trade agreements with other nations, hoping to receive their goods at a low rate. And we need to end our reliance on the exports of other countries and take back our independence by buying products made at home, buying American-made products. Also, it's better for the environment to buy American-made products. So current technologies allow manufacturing processes in the U.S. to lean toward, just being better for the environment. And if we invest in American-made products, we can be sure that we're doing our part to contribute to a cleaner environment for a generation, not to mention generations to come. And our government can't control foreign labor standards. And it looks like we just received, we have a new sponsor. Thank you so much over here on YouTube. Welcome, MAGA CAG RSBN. Really appreciate you. Thank you so much for becoming a sponsor. We will definitely look forward to your donations in the future. So when products are made in the U.S., federal and local governments can control their standards and ensure that minimum wages are paid and proper laws are upheld in accordance with the U.S. labor laws. So importing goods from abroad means that we don't have the level of control and transparency that we need, and sweatshops are rampant in third world countries where many products are manufactured. So buying foreign products in many cases supports these violations against workers abroad, and you can ensure you're helping your fellow Americans by looking for the American Made Matters or Made in the USA label. Also, we just received a $199 donation from Debo. Thank you so much for donating again today, your third donation of the day. Really appreciate you. So also buying American made goods matters because it boosts American investment opportunities. So American manufacturing means investment and finance for the American economy. And the more that's pushed into national manufacturing, the more the nation's economy will reap the benefits. With growth in manufacturing comes a surge in investment opportunities. Also, there's a guaranteed quality in the goods. And before I get onto that, it looks like we just received a $10 donation from that new sponsor, MAGA CAG RSBN. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciate all of your support. And I will tell you guys soon, or now actually, because I haven't during this whole broadcast. So if you're new to RSBN, welcome. We're so glad to have you here with us, and welcome to our stream. It's such a pleasure to have you here with us and to just share all of this great information with you guys. So a little bit about RSBN, if you don't know, Right Side Broadcasting Network actually became famous back during President Trump's election as we traveled to all of his rallies and just showed the crowd. And so it actually began just with a few cameramen going out and showing the crowd. And I apologize. Sorry for the pause. It's black screened again on YouTube. Okay, we're back. So anyways, Right Side Broadcasting Network became famous from just showing the crowds and really helping President Trump get elected into office just by being there. So we traveled to all these rallies all around the country, and like you can imagine, it is definitely expensive. Each rally that we travel to costs a minimum of $5,000. Of course, it depends on how many crew members we send, and we're not able to even know about the rally until just a few days before. So plane tickets are always expensive. So all that to say, we're not able to do this and to put on these broadcasts and to travel and to travel to rallies all around the country without your support. So we are very thankful to all our donors that make this possible for us. And I'm going to show you guys real quick that may not know or that may be new to Right Side how you can donate and how you can help keep us on the air. One way is really easy. Some of you on YouTube have seen it already or have been doing it. You can donate in the super chat. So you just click the $ right here and you can donate whatever amount you want directly from the super chat, and it comes up with your name and in a bright color, and I'll share that with the whole world. So that's one super fun way. We do get to keep 70% of that, and YouTube keeps about 30%. So if you want to know another way you can donate where we will be able to keep most of your contribution, I will show you guys real quick. So you just go to our website, rsbnetwork.com. And it's not showing right now, but above the white right here, there is a top bar with 4 tabs: RSBN Store, Chat, Contact Us, and Donate. And of course, you hit Donate. And there are links to PayPal and Patreon. So you can click the PayPal link right here. And you'll be able to enter all of your information. You just enter the amount, whether you want to make it a monthly donation or not, your debit or credit card information, billing address, and then of course your contact information. And also, if you want to become a little bit more involved, maybe you want to become a monthly donator, you can also do that on patreon.com. And that is Patreon with an E. If you're getting to it separately than our website, you just go to patreon.com/RSBN. So you can donate there, and there are different ways and levels, which I will show you guys. Over here, you can see on the side, so there's the entry level, bronze level, silver level, gold level, platinum, diamond, double diamond, and all access, which is when you give $500 or more. So it's a very fun way to donate, and you'll get fun RSBN swag pieces such as hats and mugs, pens and pencils, stickers, t-shirts, and just different things so that you will be able to think of us throughout the day, and of course remember to watch. And also, if you're not comfortable giving online, we completely understand and respect that. And you can also donate by sending a check in to our P.O. box. So you just write the check out to RSBN, and then you can send it to 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344 in Auburn, Alabama 36830. And that is also a very fun way to donate. It's a little bit more personal. A lot of people will send handwritten notes and letters, just things they love about RSBN and suggestions they have for us in the future. So that has been a blessing, and it's so heartwarming always to just go through that mail and really to just see what we mean to you guys, because at the end of the day, this is for you and not for ourselves, you know, going on the air for hours and hours. We just want to provide the best information to you guys possible. And it's really an honor to do that. So thank you all that have donated in the past, that have donated today, and that will in the future as well. So I am going to switch it over real quick, and we will finish this one article about, just the 10 reasons why you should buy American. So another way is the guaranteed quality of goods. So the term made in the USA speaks of quality, excellent craftsmanship, and a superior product. And actually continuing to use foreign imports gives no guarantee of quality. So while shipments and products can be monitored, there's no true guarantee of the imported goods' quality and longevity. So while the price tags will often be higher for made in the USA products, and then the blank, there's a blank right here. But I'm thinking it would be like the foreign products is actually often lower, as the made in the USA quality will last far longer than the foreign made alternative. Also, it helps to reduce the deficit. So whether we like it or not, the USA has a trade deficit that needs to be addressed and eliminated, and investing in American-made products will boost the American economy, which in turn will reduce the deficit. So also another reason to buy American is to avoid foreign political debates. So importing goods into the country just can produce a whole host of barriers and obstacles, particularly with nations whose diplomatic relationships may be tense. So manufacturing in the USA means these potential obstacles can simply be removed. And then outsourced manufacturing plants rarely return to the U.S. So one less considered factor is that once a product has been outsourced to a foreign country, in too many cases, it will never be manufactured in the U.S. again. And that avenue of potential business has vanished. So this must be avoided at all costs in order to strengthen our economy standing domestically while eliminating our reliance on foreign goods. So that is all I have for you about why you should buy American, and it has been such an honor and a pleasure broadcasting for you guys today. Remember, you can always communicate with me when I'm not on the air as well. You can just message me on Twitter at AlyssaRSBN. I do check that all throughout the day, and we'll get to you as soon as possible. And please stay tuned tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for my nightly news recap of all things you missed, and that's special as well, which I mentioned to you guys earlier. Pedophiles in Hollywood, definitely disturbing, but just some things that they have tweeted out and opinions that they've shared, which are definitely not appropriate. But I will be sharing those with you guys tonight, so please stay tuned for that. And once again, it was an honor broadcasting for you guys. I'm Melissa Ash with Right Side Broadcasting Network.